Check, check, one, two. Do you hear me?
Yes,
There
loud
we
and
go.
clear.
Cool. All right.
Thank you, Earle. We are ready. Please teach.
Cool. Let me get organized for a second. Okay, here we are. ACI 16. We are on class what? It's kind of not a straightforward question. We should be on class 7, I think, but we're on class 6, and we're really gonna do class 5, but we're not even gonna really do class 5. We're just gonna totally go off road, and towards the end of class we have a special surprise, and that'll probably be even more off road. But what the hell? Here we are. Um, we are. So let's for a second reorient for real. ACI 16 covers ACI 1 to 5. The third of those classes is the class on meditation. Um, and we're in the second class covering course 3. Okay. So we're covering ACI course 3, the course on meditation. I learned a new thing yesterday. Yeah. Um, and it's the second half of that course on meditation. We are a class behind. There's no plan yet for what to do about that, how to catch up. Um, Today is not going to be the day because I want to go more in depth onto what we started last class, which was the stages of meditation. Because I really think that's the should be the essence of course 3. All right, where's my translators? How am I doing? All right. So we're going to go more in depth into the 9 stages of meditation because I think it's the most important part. It's not going to be reflected on your homework or quiz or answer key or Sarah's PPT. Um, but I want to talk about 6 different things for each of the first 3 levels, maybe 4 levels. So if you're a note taker, here's the structure of what we'll talk about with each level. I'll put it in the chat. And as Karina has said, please rename yourself. We will be doing a breakout group. Um, so if you want to be in a English group, please label yourself as such. I want to talk about the goal for each level, the obstacle, kind of what would be a good intention for each level. Mm, and then like what's the technique? What's the skill that we'll be using on that level? how can we think of, okay, I've mastered that level, which is related to when to move on. So one of my meditation teachers, his name was John Yates, you know, he kind of defined what mastery would look like, and at that point moving on to the next level. I don't talk about that much in classes because I think it's somewhat artificial and a little rigid, but I think it's a nice idea to think about whether we agree with it or not. So today what I want to do is go through those 6 ideas for the first few levels. It's not on your homework, it's not on your quiz. It's going to put us impossibly far behind the formal ACI coursework. Um, you can use Sarah's beautiful PPT to help with that, and the chat and your friends. Um, we'll do a breakout group. We'll talk a little bit about what we should be talking about, and then special surprise last half hour. Cool. Okay, let's do it. As always, thank you, translators. As always, thank you all for being here. Mm, let's start with level 1. Like, where do we start with meditation? What's the beginning of that meditation process look like? Mm, who can write down the goal of level 1? When we start a meditation practice, what's our goal? And it's related to the first problem, right? When we look at this paradigm of 9 stages, there's 5 problems that every single person who meditates will have. And then there's some very common solutions to those problems. So the first problem of meditation we talked about the other day, mm, what's the first problem? Yay, Eka says lay low. Laziness. It means not wanting to meditate. I think it means not following through on priorities. It's not creating the habit. And it's the problem we're overcoming is anything that prevents that habit. So the solution, in a sense, is the habit of meditating. The problem is anything that prevents that habit. Or you could say the goal is to develop a consistent meditation practice. Right? That's the goal, presumably. Right? If that's not the goal, then that's fine. But we're talking, if people want to progress in meditation um, as a skill to develop, then we need to have a consistent practice. And even that, I think, is a great first step. Like, what is my goal in relation to that? We can say, oh, it's meditating every day, but I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to say. But what is my goal? Like, if at the end of the week, I was like, I meditated 3 times for half an hour. That's awesome. I feel good about that. Like maybe that's our consistent practice, and that's our goal. 3 times a week, half an hour. 3 times a week, 15 minutes. 7 days a week, 1 hour, whatever. But to kind of identify, what do I want my practice to look like? What's reasonable? What feels good? What's practical? And then we have a goal. So identifying what that practice, what we want our practice to look like. And the goal then is to keep that consistently. And that is going to overcome the first obstacle, which is anything that prevents that. The resistance, procrastination, can be fatigue, just tired, which means we might have to reprioritize what we do the night before meditation. Right? Impatience, lack of motivation. That's the traditional four antidotes deal with that lack of motivation. Meditating on what do I hope to get out of meditation? What are the benefits? Deciding, well, I really do want those. That sounds good. Making some effort. And then through that effort, motivated effort, having that consistent practice. So we're going through stage one. What's our goal? Consistent meditation practice. Okay. What's our obstacle? You could just say anything that prevents that. Not a bad answer. But lack of motivation, resistance, um, tiredness, life, life gets in the way, right? And then we might have to reprioritize life and fit our life into our meditation practice. And then if we can do that, then we can develop a consistent practice. And then we can set a foundation for improvement. So we talked about goal, talked about obstacle. What's the intention? I think it's just being clear about what do we want. My intention this week is to meditate 3 times for 20 minutes. That's the first part of that intention. The second part is practicing diligently for that meditation. So I can sit down in meditation and sleep my way through it. No problem. I've done that 1,000 times, thousands of times, and just kind of coasted, and then I can cross it off my list. And sometimes that's really important to keep the habit. At least I did that. But mostly we need good practice and to be like, okay, I've got this time. I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. I'm not going to waste it. And so part of intention is sitting down and being like, okay, cool. 20 minutes. I'm not gonna waste it. I'm gonna practice with diligence. And then that can happen again with when there's 10 minutes left. We're sitting for 30 minutes. We meditated for 20. and it gets a little hard and there's 10 minutes left. Like, that's probably good enough for today. It's like, can I practice with diligence that whole session? So, what are the skills? What's the method? Anything that's going to create a practice routine, anything that's going to create a habit, um, creating that nice meditation environment that we talked about with things that uplift the mind. Mm, setting practice goals, that clarity this week, 3 times, 20 minutes. Reviewing our motivation, all of those things. How do we know when we've mastered stage one? Well, I think one way to think of it would be when we never miss a planned meditation session, more or less. Because then we have the habit, right? So we've mastered stage one when we never really miss a planned practice session. And we don't procrastinate during that session. And then to keep with the format, when do we move on? The first 3 levels, it's very similar. Um, so we can say the practice of stage one is sitting down to meditate and then counting 10 breaths, like doing that initial 10 breaths. And then we can go on, then we go on to the stage 2 practice. So, after that 10 breaths, then we kind of begin stage 2 practice. If in those 10 breaths, the mind is wandering, we got to 3, and then we thought about work for 5 minutes, then come back, or 3 minutes, and start the counting again. And we can stick with that counting as the whole meditation if that's where we're at. If we can more or less count those 10 breaths, move on to stage 2. And then likewise, if we're on stage 2 or 3 or whatever, and the mind just is continually mind wandering, thinking about work, not on the object, can't stick on the object, you can always go back to counting. Go back to stage 1. Okay, this is rough. Let's go back to counting. Get grounded again. Okay? So the idea is that there's skills we can do on the different stages, and it's not linear. It's not like we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We can be on stage 1, get to stage 2, get to stage 3. Oh man, hit a bad patch. Go back to stage 1, count some breaths like that. Okay, stage 1, like that's kind of a lot. There's a lot to get the roadmap of what we're trying to do is get a roadmap to understand how to progress. If our goal is to increase our capacity to control the mind. And if it's not, that's fine. No one has to feel like they need to buy into this practice. You know, if your goal is not to meditate for shamatha and you just want to meditate to relax or develop compassion, like that's great. I'm talking about specifically meditations to increase our capacity for a single point of concentration. Not everyone is into that, I know. That's what we're going to focus on, though. And if we can do that, it will make all of our other meditations better. It will, there's so many benefits that we can actualize with a more stable, focused mind. Like the capacity to be aware of our thoughts and to be less reactive to the emotional states that arise because of that awareness. Level 2. Okay, we're going to go through the same ideas for level 2. Level 2 relates traditionally to the second problem of meditation. What's the second problem of meditation? Eka, forget the object. Excellent. Yeah, we've sat down, we've chosen an object, and inevitably we will lose it. That's why I think this list is so cool. Everybody will have this, right? Eventually, everyone will have laziness, problem number 1, and forget the object, problem number 2. We forget the object. The solution, the antidote, is remembering the object, which sounds painfully obvious. What's the problem? Forgetting. What's the solution? Remembering. But having I don't know, it's helpful for me to have it in words. And we'll talk about the idea of what remembering is. Okay? Problem 2, forgetting the object. The antidote is remembering. Antidote number what? Megan says 2. Thank you for guessing at least, though. Putting something out there. Eka says 5. It's number 5. Problem number 1, laziness, has 4 solutions. So problem number 2 is technically the 5th. Okay, what's the goal? Goal of level 2. Oh my God, I'm going way too slow. All right, number 2. We're going to shorten the periods that the mind is dreaming, mind wandering, and we're trying to extend the period of time on the object. Super simple. Spend less time off the object, more time on the object. So the obstacle is mind wandering. We forget the obstacle, we forget the object, and the mind is dreaming about other stuff. What's our intention? One of the intentions is to appreciate that moment of waking up, that moment of remembering. Okay, so when we're at level 2, it's like, my goal is to decrease the time daydreaming. Okay, I'm going to do that by by really noticing that moment of waking up from daydreaming and then direct my mind back to that object and engage with that object fully. Like that's my goal. That's the thing I'm going to kind of focus on. I'm at level 2. I'm going to forget the object. But I'm going to like in this session when I wake up to the fact I'm dreaming, that aha moment, awesome. I'm going to recognize that and then bring my mind back to the object and create the intention to keep it there. So we're really focused on that intention and that skill. Okay? So the skill is reinforcing the capacity of the mind of remembering, waking up. And one of the ways we can do that is by reinforcing the habit of checking in. Okay. Reinforcing the habit of, am I on the object? It's like checking in. What's my mind doing? Oh, like I'm thinking about work again. Okay. And then when we train the mind to be kind of monitoring itself, like having a watchdog, or for me, it's like a lighthouse. And the light is just like spinning around inside my head, checking for problems. It's like, oh, not on the object. Cool. That moment of waking up, we're reinforcing an aspect of the mind that's doing what we want it to do. Mind has woken up to the fact that we're daydreaming. Amazing. Instead of what we normally do. This is so hard. I suck at this. I've been daydreaming. I've only got 5 minutes left. I'm never, and it's just like this. Yeah, Megan said, give the dog a treat. It's what we normally do is we've thrown the ball, the dog has brought the ball back, and we're hitting the dog instead of giving it a treat. Right? The mind has woken up. That's what we want it to do. And then if we fill our mind with self-criticism, we're not reinforcing the thing that just happened that we want to reinforce. So we want to catch that moment of waking up and reinforce it. We can do that through the formal technique. I don't know if we talked about the 5 R's. Did we talk about the 5 R's? No. You can join Practice Club and we can talk about the 5 R's. Practice Club is a program with YSI where we meet on Wednesdays and we meditate and we kind of go through these ideas and these skills. And it's exactly this content. It's how do we progress through the stages of meditation? What problems are we experiencing as a group? What solutions do we have? Mastery level 2. I think if we can sustain attention on the object for minutes, and the mind wandering is not minutes. Okay. Like our goal again is to increase the time on the object, decrease time off the object. We move move to level 3 when we're on the object more than off the object. That distinguishes level 3. Level 2 and 3 are very similar as far as problems and techniques. But if we can stay on the object without mind wandering for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, definitely like level 3. We're on the object more than off. All right, let's keep going. We'll do one more level. I think that's enough to get the idea of what I'm trying to convey. Like, there's levels to the game. We can get the instructions that we need and progress. Level 3. We're on the object more than off the object. So what's our goal? Our goal of level 3 is to completely overcome forgetting. So we never completely forget the object. That's the goal for level 3. And if we meet that goal, we're on level 4. Okay. So level 3, we're getting pretty good. We're able to be on the object for 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time. And we're trying to get to that place of never completely forgetting the object. And if we succeed in that, we are on level 4. Level 4 is a state where we never completely forget the object. So what's our obstacle? The obstacle is subtle distractions, becoming gross distractions, and leading to mind wandering, leading to forgetting the object and mind wandering. Someone said sleepy mind. That's also true. Okay, we're getting better at meditation. It's taking more mental energy. We're probably meditating for a little bit longer. And sleepiness becomes a bigger obstacle on the stage. So the main obstacles, it's still distractions, forgetting the object, mind wandering, very similar, and sleepiness. What's our intention? Trying to check in with the mind on a more continuous level. Like we're increasing our capacity to be checking in to see what's going on in the mind more continuously. And to deal with dullness and distractions more quickly. So we're trying to increase our capacity to be focused on an object and being aware of the distractions in our mind, the sleepiness in our mind, and deal with them more immediately. What are the skills? What are the methods? One of the skills is connecting the different breath cycles. So connecting what's my mind like right now compared to 5 minutes ago, and becoming more accustomed to what really good meditation feels like. So we have like a benchmark of what it feels like for a focused state of mind, as opposed to a dull mind or an agitated mind. And then when we have that experiences of what good meditation is, we can compare what's going on now with what a few minutes ago was like, or 5 minutes ago. And it gives insight into like what a bright, vivid mind is like versus a dull mind. And we can kind of cultivate that bright, vivid mind. That's one idea on the skill. Mastery. Pretty much we can sit for our whole session and never completely lose the object or falling asleep. So we move on to level 4 or stage 4 when pretty much we can sit without losing the object, without mind wandering. Like that. Okay. That's a bit of a roadmap for the first 3 levels. That was meant to inspire you to understand that there is a process and there are great instructions. And that if we understand the roadmap, it's just more efficient to move along it. We have the map, it's just easier to get from A to B. One of the problems that can occur is we can get overly focused on, success or achievement or a goal. And then, you know, and that can be discouraging. So it's not meant to be like a framework for us to feel dejected or um, another reason to not feel good enough or meditation is hard. But it's a framework to help us um, understand where we're at and where we're going. So there's a framework. We're going to go into breakout groups and discuss, share what level you think you're on and what's your process of meditation. If you have no idea, that's okay. But like, what are we, what are you doing in your meditation practice? What's your process? What level are you on? And just share ideas about what do you do in your meditation practice? What's working? Where are you going with it? What level do I think I'm on? And to try to get over this fear of meditation is like one of those topics we don't really discuss. Like, how much money do you make? Or, like there's certain topics for some reason are uncomfortable to discuss. And meditation seems to be one of them because I think people feel shy or embarrassed about, well, I'm on level 2. I've been meditating for 10 years. And so we never talk about it. And it creates I think it just creates a situation where people get stuck. And if we can talk about these things openly, share ideas and have a culture of um, how do we get better at this thing? Then that's awesome. So we're going to do 10 minutes. We're going to do 9 minutes and then we get the bonus minutes. So we'll come back at 8:50. Ready, set, go. What level are you on? What's working in your meditation? What's not working? Where are you stuck? Anything like that.
Привет.
Привет. Не думала, что нас тоже включат в рассылку. У меня тут сосед дрелит, поэтому иногда тут очень шумно.
Вы имеете в виду, что вы относитесь к не участникам курса, а просто к
Да, я просто,
волонтерам?
просто технически помогаю. Ну, я проходила
Надо
16 курс. Я
дать.
проходила 16 курс про медитацию. Ну, мы можем поговорить с вами, что медитация, не знаю, как она. У меня сейчас нету такой классической медитации. Я вот как-то делала, например, ламрим, когда ты делаешь такую классную визуализацию, она так долго время занималась, это полчаса. Вот сейчас я делаю ганден хлагьяму. Ну, там есть визуализация, но как-то я для себя ее особо не приношу к медитации, просто как практика с визуализацией. Поэтому не могу сказать, что у меня сейчас какая-то есть, какие-то есть подвижки в медитации. Больше
Нет, ну
визуализация.
почему? Вы же вот по этапу можете оценить, как у вас это происходит, с переключением внимания или нет.
Не, ну если я делаю практику, я не отвлекаюсь. То есть я не думаю про то, куда мне, что мне надо в туалет или что я буду есть на обед. То есть я делаю практику. В общем-то, фокус какой-то минимально присутствует.
Хорошо. Я вот сейчас подумала, что это очень похоже на то, как я сосредотачиваю внимание в течение дня вообще.
М.
И думаю, вот, где-то между первым и третьим уровнем точно. Пристальное внимание, но ненадолго. Пристальное внимание присутствует. Просто я не понимаю, мне надо брать какой-то определенный промежуток времени. Ну, в общем, короче, я думаю, что мой уровень точно где-то между первым и третьим.
Не, ну, почему первым и третьим? Первый– это надо выбрать объект медитации. У вас же есть объект медитации, то есть это точно не
Ну,
первый.
это типа каждый раз разные, мне кажется, каждый день разные уровни.
А первый уровень– это когда ты вообще не можешь сосредоточиться. Ну, то есть ты что-то там вспомнила на секунду и забыла об этом тут
Постоянно,
же.
постоянно, да, отвлекаешься. Бывает, что садишься, и в какой-то момент там происходит непрерывное,
Не, ну на работе же есть
потом,
внимание. Ну, когда выполняешь задачу, есть же внимание. Там же
да,
нет такого, что у меня выдали задание, мне надо, например, там составить таблицу. Пока я дошла до рабочего места, я
ну
забыла
да.
вообще, где я. Я решила пойти в театр или там почитать книгу, но нет же такого.
Это так выглядит?
Ну, конечно, это, ну, это отвлечение внимания тут же, это первая стадия.
Ну, нет, конечно, не до такой степени,
Ну, не
конечно,
до
все
такой
плохо.
степени просто. Ну, я не думаю, что там уже все так плохо.
Да. Не, ну я просто знаю, что я постоянно отвлекаюсь. Ну, то есть я не могу сидеть
Ну,
непрерывно.
мы живем в таком мире, что мы постоянно в этих соцсетях. Я не думала, что у меня зависимость. Оказалось, что у меня прямо какой-то до дрожи в руках, что мне надо проверить Телеграм. Когда больная уже. Хотя мне не нужно проверять Телеграм. То есть все в порядке, никто не умер, как бы все живы. Можно отвлечься. Ну, вот едешь в транспорте особенно, да, то есть это какая-то уже маньячная зависимость, что нужно листать вот эти соцсети. Это я вот по себе отметила. Поэтому в таком состоянии, ну, как бы сложно говорить о том, что у тебя там спокойный, ясный ум, что он там может хорошо сесть в медитацию. То есть надо начинать вот с этого, вот откуда берется зависимость, проводить какие-то детоксы, например, там, после 9 вечера уже никуда там не лезть, там, на выходных хотя бы полдня не сидеть в телефоне. Для этого и делают медитационные эти ретриты на 1-2 дня, чтобы как-то успокоиться.
Буду обязательно дома зависать, например.
Даша, хочешь что-нибудь сказать?
Я не знаю, я второй раз пишу в английскую группу, меня перекидывают сюда. И Карине пишу, она говорит, да, конечно, опять. Вот так. Ну, наверное, первый уровень.
Да не ври, что ты врешь?
Нет, я правда, почему? Я не вру, кстати. У меня ум прыгает, как этот... Не зря же я в год обезьяны родилась. У меня прыгает, как обезьяна. Еще и с горящим хвостом. Ну, а телефоны, ну... Мне уже тошнить начинает, ты не понимаешь? Я только открываю лес, я вот до вот такого состояния, я закрываю, народ там сидит в телефоне, я закрываю просто, выключаю уже наушники, я сижу, смотрю на... туда посмотрела, уже от телефона просто тошнит. Особенно, когда начальница говорит, вы должны смотреть каждую минуту, там, что она напишет. И мне тем более вообще плохо от него. Хотя, да, зависает, знаешь, вечером, когда надо спать, все, и ты сидишь. Дрин-дрин-дрин, дрин-дрин, дрин-дрин, тупо просто. Медитация на телефон, это я называю. Это хорошая медитация.
Я, кстати, поддерживаю, что по поводу того, что начинает тошнить от телефона. Это я хорошая, думаю, тенденция от него немножко отлипать.
Перегруз идет вот этот
Меня слышно?
эмоциональный, да.
Да, тебя хорошо
отлично.
слышно.
Мгм. Да, поэтому я еще медитирую 2 раза в день и медитирую с утра, но не в том идеальном виде, в котором это должно быть. Вот. Но я стремлюсь к тому, чтобы выстроить свою жизнь. Но опять, вот это, знаете, я выстраиваю, например, свой график, свое расписание, и тут меня отправляют в командировку. И все. Мое расписание резко рушится. Вот. То есть вставать в 5 утра я до сих пор не могу себя заставить. Ну, прогресс есть.
Зачем вставать в 5 утра?
Ну, чтобы успеть неторопливо все предварительные шаги, не торопясь, и йогу, и медитацию. Ну, это вот прям
Чайник.
как бы в идеальном мире это у меня был за момент. Слава богу, я уже начала подготовительные шаги какие-то делать. И я считаю, что это в моем случае прогресс. Потому
Слушай,
что
а
я
может быть,
начала все больше думать о учителе, начала чувствовать какую-то любовь, и эта любовь в виде благодарности, желания.
м,
Минутка осталась. Да? Ну, мне кажется, что не надо себя насиловать, надо делать лучшее из возможного, что можно в настоящий момент. Ну, в 5 часов вставать я тоже не встаю в 5, я встаю в 6. И, ну, все, что я могу, я делаю. Главное, чтобы твое сознание записывало, что ты искренне что-то делаешь. Насилие над собой, оно не приносит плодов. Я так понимаю.
Да, кстати, искренне, правильно. Я об
Да.
этом как раз размышляла, что когда я там Марфушенька, короче, из сказки, которая требует результатов, вот, а есть второе состояние, как Аленушка, которая не требует, а просто вот из любви вот так вот действует. Мне кажется, пока что
I'm curious if that was functional. Was it informative? How did it go? What's the feedback? What did you learn? What's your thoughts on that breakout? Megan got a heart. Could you explain the heart, please?
Yeah, I'm happy to. It's nice to openly talk about
Well,
art.
please remember you're being translated and please share.
Thank you. It felt nice to just be open and honest about something that I definitely have felt that feeling of like, oh, shame, or I need to hide if my practice isn't where I want it to be. So it was really nice to just share openly and hear other people's experiences and see them have that space too. So thanks for the invitation.
Oh, great. That was a huge goal for me. Let's break the ice of that fear. It'd be like wanting to get better at tennis, but never being allowed to talk about tennis. Or you'd have to like watch it in private or something. It's just weird. What else? Let me see. Irina Kovic, how'd it go? What'd you learn?
Здравствуйте всем. Важное, чем поделилась я, это тем, что, имея проблемы сейчас в практике, я помню моменты, когда у меня были успехи. И сейчас я хочу вернуться назад. То есть я знаю плюсы моей практики, и у меня есть к чему стремиться, над чем работать. Я поделилась с девочками и послушала их тоже. Спасибо.
Awesome. Cool. Non-Russian speakers, I hope you found your way to the 3 dots that say more, and then the interpretation channel, and then choose your language. Who else? Let's see. How about Maria Fernanda? How'd it go?
Ya puse el micrófono. Bueno, pues en el grupo yo compartí que me había funcionado últimamente el hacer la meditación a la primera hora de la mañana, tan pronto me levanto, entonces hacer como lo primero que hago en el día para todavía no estar metida como todas las actividades cotidianas y la mente todavía no está como tan impregnada de eso. Entonces me ha funcionado y me ha dado estabilidad que he logrado ya por más de un mes, casi 2 meses, y eso me tiene muy contenta porque me siento que he logrado meditar todos los días con un enfoque medio por ahí en nivel 2, pero lo he logrado hacer con persistencia. Entonces me ha gustado mucho hacerlo a esa hora, me da como más tranquilidad y logro hacerlo. Sí.
Maria, we don't have an interpretation for that, but I caught a little bit in the Spanish. I'm sorry, we don't have a Spanish interpreter to give us what you said, but I do appreciate you sharing.
I mean, we
Oh, we
have
do
it,
have.
but yeah, we do have, but for some reason, I don't know why
Yeah.
it didn't You didn't switch. I'm
Didn't
so sorry,
switch.
Maria Fernanda. Yeah, I don't know why.
It was, oh, okay, great. Olga, please give us the, yeah. Hmm, cool. Awesome. Thank you for
Gracias.
translating. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, everybody, for playing
Gracias.
this game of translations and being part of an amazing community around the world. Allows us to do this. Sometimes clunky. We have a guest speaker coming in a few minutes. Whoever is teching, please notify me if they arrive and pin them. I have to leave 30 minutes early. So I've invited a guest speaker to actually cover some of what we're supposed to talk about today. Let's go to the PPT. I'll fill time for 3 minutes while they get here. There are three, let's do the 3 kinds of meditation slide. Here we go. And thank you again, Maria, for sharing and for the translation, Olga. 3 different kinds of, so this course is fascinating, ACI 3. Geshe Michael goes through 5 main ideas. And then the 5th one is the object. So how do we choose an object for meditation? The object he chooses is the Lam Rim. And then he spends 3 classes teaching Lam Rim in the middle of a meditation course. So it's kind of strange. It's like, what's going on? Why are we studying Lam Rim? And then some of the things you'll see in the homework is stuff we've actually covered in some of the previous classes, like 4 laws of karma, life is suffering, 3 scopes. So this class, ACI 16, class 6, it's mostly about the Lam Rim. Why are we talking about all these Lam Rim ideas in the course on meditation? Because, yeah, Mohan says it's the object of meditation. Geshe Michael chose as the object of meditation, Lam Rim, and then spent 3 classes talking about the Lam Rim as an object of meditation. So it's a little confusing, but that's where we're at. 3 types of meditation we can be doing. 1, jokgom. Say jokgom. Jokgom. It's a fixation. So we can imagine a person or a Buddha or we could use breath. But anything that we choose as an object, we put our mind on that object and we keep it there. Fixation meditation. Number 2, Shargom, review meditation. What are the 4 laws of karma? And just review them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 3, 2, 4. Whatever. We're just reviewing it, burning the steps into our mind over and over again. What are the 7 steps, cause and effect, bodhicitta? Over and over and over again. Review meditation. Number 3 is Shegom, where we're taking something and analyzing it. So it could be an emptiness meditation. Could be a philosophical problem we're trying to sort out. taking something in and just kind of thinking about it deeply. If we take the Lam Rim as an object, which type of meditation are we doing? Right? We've gone through this course. We're in the topic, we're in the meditation course. Geshe Michael has chosen the object of meditate of the Lam Rim. Which of these three types of meditation is the object Lam Rim? Cast your votes in the chat below. Well, I welcome Ben Kramer. Ben and I have studied together since forever. Not only since forever, but kind of daily since forever. Yesterday I hit him up about the emptiness of parts. And we were just discussing that. Anyway, I gotta run. Thanks, Ben, for covering my ass again. Most of you know Ben. I could give all the things about what he does and what he's done, but
you should go.
What's cool is I can phone him the night before class and like a good friend, he just agreed to step in. Thanks, Ben.
Love you. See you
Thank you,
soon.
Earle. Thank you, Ben.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Okay. Did he cover this slide?
Yes.
Okay. Should we go to the next slide and see what happens?
Yes, let's do it.
I like it. Okay. Okay. Everybody say Lam Rim. Yeah, Lam Rim. Lam Rim is short for Lam Gi Rimba. Lam means path, of course, but path in this sense is treated as the same as what word? Do you know? There's a special meaning of path in the tradition of the Lam Rim. So it can mean a road, like Lamka means a street that you walk down. But yeah, that's right. I'm seeing it in the chat. A realization. So it's a mental state. It's a mental realization, an understanding that you come to. And then Rim uh Marga in Sanskrit would be path, I guess. Rim, what is it? Oh, krama? Yeah, krama in Sanskrit means like steps or stages. So these are understandings or realizations that build on top of one another, more and more profound, but also profound in a way that builds on the last one. So your mental experience, I like the word epiphany. I don't know if that's a pain for the poor translators, but a realization meaning your mind gets blown. Wow, what is that? Oh, good. That's there we go. I had a glitch in the matrix. Um, but yeah, you have a mind-blowing experience that shakes the way that you understood the world or shakes the way that you felt. And that prepares you for a next earth-shattering understanding that you could only have based on the other one. The scriptures of the perfection of wisdom, meaning the prajna paramita, are the source for this term, lam girimba, which means it must have been in Sanskrit, which means marga krama, something like that. And so who does that mean must have said it in the chat? Who spoke the perfection of wisdom scriptures? It must be coming. Oh, good, Lord Buddha. Yeah, so Lord Buddha came up with this term in the perfection of wisdom, which you have been talking about, right? What they also call the mother. Oh, you're not crazy, Todd. Hi, Todd. Todd said maybe Maitreya. The perfection of wisdom books are especially talked about in the books by Maitreya. So you're not crazy, but the original books and the original source for this word would have been the Buddha themselves. I think we can go to a next slide. Oh, good. And in fact, Todd segued us perfectly to this topic of 5 great subjects. If someone has, I don't know the format. I really just dropped in on no notice here. So if you typically ask questions or Ben's doing everything all wrong, you just let me know. And I'm always happy if there are questions along the way. They can be in the chat. You can raise your hand. You can unmute yourself and blurt things out. Just know this is your class. I'm not in charge here. I'm just the substitute teacher. So you can like fold paper airplanes and throw them at me when I'm not looking from the back of the class. The everything is perfect. No, you are. Okay, good. So the 5 topics are the 5 topics that are studied in the monastery, especially in the Geshe course, and the Lam Rim is a way of studying all of these. So sometimes you could say there's 2 different kinds of students. A Lam Rimba means a Lam Rimmer, okay, someone who studies the Lam Rim way. And then sometimes they say a Tsenipa. Tseni means definition. So a Tsenipa is like a definitionator, which is not an English word. So of course the translators, good luck. You translate it how you want because I made up that word. But it sometimes is the word for a debater also, is someone who's good at forming definitions. But it also means someone who studies all the 5 books. You see all the 5 topics. Which one should you be? The great students, of course, do both. So you should understand both. Understand the Lam Rim, the way that these topics are collected together, and then study them individually. These courses, oh look, it says ACI 16. These ACI courses, I can say, are the Tsenipa way, okay, the hard way. Now, in the Tsenipa way, we study the Lam Rim as a way to understand the grand summary. Let's see if we have time. We can try to talk quickly about the 5 subjects. They each have a book. They are subjects, but they each have a book that is associated with them. So, perfection of wisdom. We just talked about it. And Todd was very helpful in the chat. The main book, you could say, in a sense, is the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras. But the main book that they study in the monastery for this topic is is Maitreya's book. is the Abhisamaya which means the ornament of realization or something, the pretty jewelry worn upon the already beautiful lady that is realization or something, is what the book is called. And so it's like the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras are beautiful enough, but if you wanted to put earrings and a necklace on the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras, sometimes called the mother, you see, mom is already so beautiful. They call the Perfection of Wisdom Sutras mommy in Tibetan, sometimes yum, right? So if you wanted to, she's already beautiful enough, but the ornament would be to put a necklace and jewelry on her. And this is this explanation by Lord Maitreya. Uh, Asanga wrote it down. Arya Asanga was the scribe. He typed it or something. What, 1500 years ago? He did all the typing, but Maitreya spoke it to him. And these 5 subjects, we're still on the first one, are also taught from different perspectives, different dupta. Dupta means schools of thought. And perfection of wisdom is considered lower middle way. There are 4 schools: the detailists, the sutrists, the guys who like the details, the guys who would rather focus on sutra. They also like logic. The mind-only school, and the middle way school. That's you. You're the middle way school. But the middle way school, sorry, has 2 branches. Don't blame me. I just work here. Blame Earle when he comes back. The middle way school, the highest of the 4, has 2 branches. And the perfection of wisdom is usually the lower of the 2 branches. You can spend a long time learning about that. Middle way, the next topic on this list, includes both of those branches, you see? But when they say middle way in the monastery, they automatically mean the higher middle way, which is confusing. And I'm sorry, they did not consult me when they made this decision. But when they talk about the subject middle way, they are talking about higher middle way. And when they're talking about lower middle way, they call it perfection of wisdom in the monastery. The book, in so much as each of these subjects is a broad subject, like perfection of wisdom is lower middle way as a subject, but has a book, which is the Abhisamaya, the ornament of realization. The middle way as a topic is higher middle way, and as a book is Entering the Middle Way by Master Chandrakirti, who is our guy on emptiness. And by our guy on emptiness, I mean Jetson Kappa's guy on emptiness. Because Jetson Kappa is our guy on emptiness. But Jetson Kappa's favorite guy was Master Chandrakirti. And Master Chandrakirti was Jetson Kappa's favorite guy because only Master Chandrakirti understood Nagarjuna, who wrote the Madhyamaka Karika, the poem Karika called Madhyamika, called the Middle Way. And then nobody understood it, and everyone freaked out, and they got scared and went running when Nagarjuna taught, and then explained it wrong, but not Chandrakirti. Jetson Kappa read them all and said, Chandrakirti, he's the one, if you want to understand. And that topic in the monastery of why Chandrakirti is the only one who understood Nagarjuna is called Middle Way, Uma. like Professor Thurman's daughter, the actress Uma. Um, Vowed morality. The book, you can imagine what it's about. It is about vowed morality, but especially mm, monks and nuns' vows, though not exclusively. There are some forms of this teaching that you can practice. You can take. There's of course there's the 10 uh, virtues or something. Don't uh, what you can. What can we put them in the chat so that Ben doesn't have to make sure he remembers them? Uh, don't kill anybody. Uh, help me. Uh, uh, don't kill. Don't.
Let's quickly rejoice on the seeds of connection. Oh, Ben, you're here. Good. Rejoicing worked. We lost you for a second, but
Yay!
you're here. Yay. Okay. Check,
Yeah,
check.
good. Okay.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You hear
Okay.
me? And I
Yes,
you.
perfect. Yes, perfect.
Delightful. Great. Yes. Yeah, no lying is on there. Generally, they divide them into body and speech and mind, the 10. But mostly the vowed morality commitments are body and speech, mostly. Which is cool. It's a cool reason to do silent retreat, for example. I know Tim just got out of a 1 month retreat. And one of the cool things about not talking, if there are 10 naughty deeds, how many of them are speech? You know, of the 10? It's 4. So if you don't talk all day, you've just cut your bad deeds by more than a third. It's a miracle. And all you have to do is shut up. Um, and this subject is taught from the perspective of the lowest of the 4 schools. Okay, what they call the detailers, the guys who like all the details. So is the next topic, by the way. Abhidharma. I'm sorry. I was supposed to tell you what book we studied vowed morality from. They call it the Vinaya Sutra. Uh, what is the funny thing you're always supposed to point out about the Vinaya Sutra is not a, let me see it in the chat. Yay, good. It's not a sutra. Meaning sutra usually means something spoken by the Buddha, but sutra can also mean a short book or a summary book. And in this case, it has the second meaning. It's a summary of all the things that the Buddha taught about uh, especially monks and nuns' vows, which is very profound. It's very beautiful, and it's like an instruction manual for behaving like a Buddha. Um, if you can't think like a Buddha yet, you could at least behave like one. And all you would have to do is this list of things. And you might be capable of behaving like a Buddha, even if you're thinking naughty thoughts. It would be a good start to at least behave right. And it's very beautiful. And then from that same perspective, the lower school is also taught the Abhidharma. And the main book on that is the Abhidharma Kosha, the treasure house of higher knowledge. In fact, here it says storehouse of higher knowledge, which is the name of the book. Whereas Abhidharma is the name of the topic. So you could say the topic is higher knowledge. And you could say the book is the storehouse of higher knowledge, the Abhidharma Kosha by Master Vasubandhu, who didn't believe it. Okay. The tradition is he had a brother who is famous for these schools up here, who caught him saying naughty things about lower school people, saying lower school people aren't real Buddhists or something, or they just don't get it, and showed him how important these teachings are, which is why they're included in the Lamrim, because they're so important to all your later understanding. And he said something like, "That's it, I'm going to cut my tongue out because I was so naughty." And a Sangha said, "Don't cut your tongue out, little brother. Write this book instead." Uh, Giving the best ever presentation of the lower schools. Um, and then you can keep your tongue. That's a good use of your tongue. And then you have proven that you should definitely keep your tongue. Nobody cut their tongue out. Okay. And then this logic and perception, okay, is this school. It's the second one up. And it's its own topic. It's included as a part of the Lamrim. You see, these are all built into the Lamrim, but also we study them in ACI. So what? ACI 2, which you've been studying, is especially perfection of wisdom. Middle way is all over. Vowed morality is ACI 9. Storehouse of higher knowledge is ACI 4 and 8. No, sorry, 5 and 8. Thank you. You're right. 5 and 8. Logic and perception is 4 and 13. And the main book for that is called The Commentary on Accurate Perception, the Pramanavartika. It is a commentary on how to see the world properly, but that's not what the name means. The name Commentary on Accurate Perception means it's a commentary on another book called Accurate Perception, the Compendium of Accurate Perception by Dignaga. But Dharmakirti wrote a book called The Commentary on Accurate Perception, and that's the main book for this topic. Anyway, that's okay. It's too much detail. You should learn all this by slowly going through the 18 courses rather than having Ben explain a slide. Let's do the next slide, in fact. Oh, there is no way we can cover this in 7 minutes, and no way we should go on from here. So it's okay. Earle told me I don't have to try to cover everything. So I won't try to cover everything. These 4 steps, because we're studying the Lamrim, and this is where it starts. You need a teacher. You need a teacher. And the first one, these 4 steps are about the process of developing a relationship with a teacher. People nowadays are funny about teachers. I saw a young man in a coffee shop the other day reading the book Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. This was a very important book to me as a young man. And he was about the age I was when I read it. I thought, how cool. And there was one part of the book that really bugged me, which is in the story, this character meets the Buddha and decides to go away and not hang out with the Buddha because he needs to realize things for himself. He doesn't need a teacher. And that I thought, what a stupid idea. That if you want to get great at something, you need a teacher. If you want to be pretty good at something or you think something is kind of interesting, then just listen to podcasts or watch YouTube videos. If it's a hobby, great, that's fine. For a hobby, that's great. If you And I'll put it the way Geshe put it, okay? If you want to get enlightened, if you want to stop pain in this lifetime, like that's intense, right? People are not running around the street talking about stopping pain for yourself and everyone you love. People are not talking like that. This tradition says that that's possible. That's radical. That's a big deal, right? If you want to know a few tricks on the piano, you can watch a YouTube video. If you want to be a master pianist, if you want to be like the greatest piano player ever, you have to have a teacher. If you want to learn to do a cartwheel, you can watch some videos, right? You want to learn to do a handstand or something. There's some very good stuff on Instagram. Uh, but if you want to be in the Olympics, you see like the Olympic gold medalist at the end. They run over to their coach, their teacher, and they're crying, and the coach is crying. You see, um, because they're so close. They've been living in the same place, taking care of each other all day, every day. You see, um, if you are looking for grand goals, you have to have a teacher. Now, who? This is difficult, right? And coming to faith, developing faith in a teacher is a long, delicate process. Uh, there's a tradition of a student who checked out his teacher for 12 years, and then came to the teacher and said, "Okay, I've watched you for 12 years. I interviewed all your students. I watched, and I decided that you're the one. I can trust you." And according to the story, then the teacher says, "Okay, now I check you out for 12 years." Uh, because it's a lot of trouble for the teacher. Also, I have been nothing but trouble for my teacher. Um, I never gave my teacher any money. My teacher gave me so much money and food and shelter, and you have to choose very carefully. You have to choose very carefully. You have to be very smart. Don't If you quickly think you're ready, you're probably not ready. And any good teacher will tell you that. Uh, uh, some bad advice, you see, like a bad doctor is very dangerous. They say a bad doctor can give you advice that can screw up your life, but a bad teacher can give you advice that can screw up many lives. Um, okay, last thing I will say on this, which means I'm not really covering these four, um, because it's time to stop. Your teacher is a reflection of you, like everything else in the world. You have to choose a teacher wisely. Some people will say, I can choose anyone off the street. It doesn't matter because they are empty. Don't do it. You won't make it. Uh, Pick someone that you have studied closely and you already think is pretty awesome, or it will be too hard for you. But then, yes, it's true. They are a reflection of your heart. And then you treat them the way that you would treat someone who was perfect. Not because they are perfect. They're not perfect. They're coming from you. You treat them perfect because you want to see them that way. They are your practice person. You see? They are your practice person. You should treat everybody that way, but you can't do it. I can't do it. You can't maintain it. It's too hard. So you pick one person and you say, I will treat this person as if they were made of love. And then they will become that for me in time. In a sense, okay? My radical position, okay? I will say, uh, they will become beautiful more and more as you treat them beautiful. They will be more and more made of love in your eyes, not from their side, from you, as you treat them that way. In a sense, you could say, and no one says this, I'm saying this, okay? It's okay. I'm not an officially sanctioned ACI teacher, so they can't kick me out. Your teacher is the first person you save from suffering. You make them perfect by your practice. They start pretty good. You treat them the way you would treat a perfect person. Not because they're not. They become that for you. And that shows you how you will save everyone on this planet by the shape of your heart. That's it. I'm supposed to let you go promptly at whatever time it is in your time zone 30. Nice to see you all.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish we could have more time. Thank you so much.
I'm easy to find. Take care. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you so much. Bye.
My great honor. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Please teach. Please come
Thanks.
back. Bye. All right, everyone. Olga, Eka, I hope you still breathe.